Fapping. Shit, I got it fucking wrong. Like, what's the word?
Fapping.
Too old for that
Fapping.
shit.
Is it fapping?
I haven't fapped in 15 months.
15 months.
How long have you not fapped?
I don't keep count, but
Do
I'll tell you right now, man. Ask my wife. She knows.
Do you know what happened about fapping? Is it fapping?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch our video when I fucking thought he was fapping? I was gonna fucking
thought
hit
I
him.
was
I was like, "Are you
fapping?"
fapping?"
Like I'm
and he
some
goes, "No,
serial
I'm an
fapper."
ex-fapper. I'm an ex-fapper."
Retired.
Retired.
Retired athlete.
Retired
Yeah.
fapper, bro.
Fuck your fapping, man.
It's better because now I fucking yeah.
He's running instead.
Now I move through dimensions and shit.
Nah, it's the best.
Huh?
Breath work, and if you don't fap and you use that energy, it's like, oh, you're on
100%.
another
Got to go
level.
somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Straight to the
On
brain,
the ceiling.
man.
I mean,
That's disgusting.
all right. I'm gonna clap us in. You ready?
I already clapped.
You clapped?
Oh.
Are we on?
We on.
Oh shit.
X-rated.
No dinner for me tonight. All right. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Be Human podcast. And today we've got another special guest on. And he's a bloke that I haven't actually known for too long, but for some reason I'm very comfortable around him. And this is Mr. Jai, the Prince of Bali himself. How are you, brother?
I'm very well, guys. Thanks so much for having me on. Really happy to be here.
Great to have you, bro. And so what we're going to start this off with is I want you to introduce yourself, what you do on a personal and professional level.
Yep.
All right. And you've built a very, very good community that I'm now proud to be part of on a regular basis. So let's have a talk about all that.
Yeah, so generally, I guess my claim to fame, or what I'm known for, is the Cold Water Club, which resides in Frankston, which is something that I started last May or June in winter. And essentially what it is I guess we all meet every day and jump in the cold water. And essentially that has numerous benefits, as you guys know.
Yeah.
But the reason why I started that is I was already doing it by myself for about 2 or 3 years since lockdown. Love doing it by myself, and every now and then I would get, 1 or 2 friends down with me, and I always said, oh man, I would love to have like a group here. Like that would be mad.
Yeah.
And at the time I was going through a breakup, and I had this promise to myself that after I went through this breakup, I wasn't going to cling to any vices. That meant no alcohol, no sleeping with women for no reason, no masturbating, no nothing.
Yeah.
It was all just about growth.
Yeah.
And then one of the biggest things on that was, I cared about so much what people thought of me. And that's why I didn't have a group at the water, because I was like, oh, if I start a group, what if no one comes? What if someone thinks it's stupid? What if people speak badly about it? And I thought, that's stupid,
Yeah.
And it's selfish of me if I'm getting a huge benefit out of this. If I don't share it with people, then I'm being selfish. I'm being a bitch.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
what kind of man doesn't share it? You're not a man
that's
then.
right.
You keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
So I posted on my own Instagram. I didn't have a big following. I had 1,500 followers or whatever. Hey guys, from now on, every Sunday, 10 a.m., I want to be here. I get in the water because it helps me with my anxiety, helps me feel more confident, helps me with my adversity.
Yeah.
Come join me. And then the first Sunday we had 7 people there, all my friends.
Wow.
Next Sunday we had 15, and then we had 20, and then we had 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 people on a Sunday. We had the project come down and do a story on us. They came to my house.
Wow.
And we ended up raising about $13,000 for a mental health organisation called Batia.
Yep.
And then this year we done another fundraiser for an orphanage in Bali, which holds close to my heart, being half Balinese.
Yep.
And essentially what we've gotten out of this is just a community of like-minded people who are spanning all different ages, male, female, all different walks of life, and just the idea and the intention is just a positive space that makes people feel safe. Just come and be, because there's literally nothing people are getting out of it other than getting in some cold water and being surrounded by other people
Yes.
that they can feel comfortable with. And there's not really many things in life that I've experienced that's like that. Like when I was younger, my socializing was all through drinking, drugs, being cool, like trying to fit in ways that felt unnatural to me.
Yes.
Without even realizing it, and being someone else that wasn't even me without even realizing it. Where you get in the cold water, just like the gym, you have to be humble because we're all fucking cold. You can't act like you're not cold, like your body's not going to let you. Same as if you're lifting weights or if you're in the ring, you have to be yourself. And people who have an ego are very quickly seen. So even at the start, I remember when we had 70, 80 people coming, there was people coming that I didn't really like or respect, but that was up to me to decide if they were there or not.
Yep.
But I saw the best in them, and it made me realise, wow, this space is giving everyone a chance to, even if it's just for 10 minutes a day, they get a chance to be themselves comfortably in an environment to which they're accepted, and we can all share that. And having that little safe space can be a ripple effect to other things, if that makes sense. it's very trivial just getting in the water. But if they think they can do that and feel heard, seen, understood and validated in that scenario, which is nothing essentially, imagine the things that matter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's how I feel personally. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And what really stood out for me was what you talked about, community and connection, right? And how we were so conditioned to only connect in communities if we go out partying and doing stuff that it's not really beneficial for us, but, you know, we felt like we belonged somewhere. And now, and it sort of like also creates a facade, like we show up with our best, you know, outfits, our hair done, our weaves, our fucking eyelashes. I don't know what you guys do, but just putting it out there. But what I love about community like this, your hair's all fucked up, you got no makeup on, you know, you're cold, your body's your body, it's exposed, it's raw, it's authentic, and you fucking fall in love with seeing people as they are, starting on the physical level, right, being loved for as you are. Imagine what it does for the person looking and witnessing someone in their realness and falling in love with that, but also the person who's now for the first time maybe in their life being able to be loved and receive love and appreciation for being raw and who they are. Like that's the first time maybe a lot of people felt like, hey, I don't have to hide. I feel so good to be seen like this. Like this is what I look like when I get out of the shower. This is what I look like when my hair's messy. So, you know, we don't have a world that creates safe spaces for that. Like if you look at Instagram, if you look at anything, so many things are filtered. Even what you wear it's a filtering, right? And this is what a beautiful space to be in, where the filter comes off, man, and you start on that very first level of physicality, and it's like, hey man, I'm going to love you and you're going to be a part of this by me seeing you and me being seen in this space. Yeah, I love that, mate.
Like 100%. For me, like you know, the Cold Water Club, for example, could be someone's starting point to creating change, right? For myself, it was a missing link or something that I've been doing a lot of things myself when it comes to self-development work. But only this year I have stopped personal training clients. So that was a lot of my mornings was human interaction with clients at a similar time when we're doing running and jumping in the water. And then for a 2-week, 3-week period, I said to my wife, I said, mate, I need purpose in the morning. I can't just wake up at 4 a.m. at home, do my breath work, my meditation, just have a cold shower and just sit there waiting to interact with other human beings, right? So I said, you know what, this gives me opportunity, because I seen Jack Lyons, another close friend of ours, was doing a lot of the work with Jai as well. And I said to Jesse, no, this is my opportunity. I'm going to go down there and do this. And number one, I don't run. And I'm actually fucking afraid of jumping in the bay. Like I don't like going anywhere above my waist or if I can't see my legs. Always, like I've always been that type of person, right? Even when I met like Jesse and we were in Perth and I'm like, no, there's sharks, there's this, there's that. Like I just didn't like it, right?
Me too.
Mate, next thing you know, I'm looking for the fucking windiest mornings, the choppiest mornings out there where we can't even see the pier, and I'm like, fuck, let's do this, you know?
Wow.
So, and the thing that I love about it too is growing up in a gym environment as a trainer, you see gym culture, and a lot of it, you know, you can tell, especially if there's women that are attractive, right? Someone walks in, everyone starts staring, whatnot, and you can just sense the energy in that room, you know, wouldn't make them feel very comfortable as such. But I love the fact that, you know, you can literally rock up 6 a.m. You've got women in their bathers, but feeling safe. Yeah. There's no sexualization from the men that are there. And that is what true community is about.
Yeah, I love
you know what I mean? Like in a short amount of time, you feel connected with these people. And when it comes to like the cold water, like how you explained as well, Jai, with anxiety and everything like that, I was at a time I know of my life, and Aesha, you know about this, is that when I felt like a complete fucking victim and I wasn't controlling any aspect of my life anymore. And this happened when the gyms were closed, we went through fucking lockdowns, and my masculinity, how can I say it? Masculinity, there we go, was threatened. I felt, because I had kids to feed, I had a wife to you provide for and look like that alpha. You know what I mean? So leading all up to that really took a fucking mental strain on my mind. And I could have done what I've done previously is drink, put fucking Coke up my nose, you know, and just forget about it type thing. Just go have a fucking mad time, right? And numb the mental pain, let's say, yeah. But, you know, I'll say grateful enough to look and go, fuck, I have so much responsibilities now that I can't be irresponsible anymore. I need to take action in what I'm doing. And until Aesha seen me and said, what the fuck's wrong with you? She saw me at my lowest, right? And she's like, no, cold water, breath work, meditation. Start with these 3 things. And I thought, you know what, it made sense to someone like me. We go to the gym on a regular basis to improve our physical self, right? But I wasn't doing anything to improve my spiritual self in any way whatsoever. So then Aesha introduced me to Wim Hof. So I started doing all the Wim Hof breathwork stuff, and I don't miss that at all. I do that fucking week in, week out, right? So all the Wim Hof breathing to regulate myself and just set the tone within for the day, for the stresses that, you know, life is bigger than us. It's going to throw everything it can, you know. Then the cold water, what I found was, especially in those times when I was full of rage, and I used to fall into a rage cycle or process where I could not fucking control myself anymore. And I'd be I'd be going fucking nuts, and in my head saying, stop, slow down, you're going to hurt someone, stop. But I couldn't. It was like you're just fucking watching this thing play out in front of you, right? So then there was times where I'd just fucking storm straight to a shower and turn the cold water on and just break that pattern instantly, right? So I was like, fuck, this works. And then the meditation was a whole nother level when you put that together, because all of a sudden I was like, I am creator. I'm co-creator of what I want. I put it in my head, I feel it through my body, and it comes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I can take action because there's a belief system now that I can do it, right? So, you know, I've brought down like even one of Audrey that we know well, one of my boxers, she comes down and does the run. She hasn't jumped into the water yet, but I know she will, right? And coming down to a community like that, being around like-minded people and people who are improving is, I think, something that every human being, doesn't matter if you're old, young, boy, girl, whatever the fuck it is, how rich or poor you are, right? You need to find a community that is going to help you develop yourself into something a lot bigger than you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing.
I reckon, Jai, give us a little bit about your background and why you got into it personally. Because it's important, because when I sit here and look at both of you guys, you are very masculine, right? And I think more than ever now it's the time where we need strong, healthy, masculine men, right, doing these things. Like, you have the potential to honestly party, fuck around, do your fucking coke, drink away, whatever you want to do. You guys have the capacity, but what is making you make a different choice, creating these spaces? Like, it's so incredible, and it's not coming from a space where that's not available and that's not an option for you guys, but for now to make these conscious choices and go, nah, I'm going to fucking utilize my power, my energy, my resources, my reach to create these kind of spaces for men and women, and now influence other people, encourage other people. What was your story behind that? And as a woman, I'm like, I'm so grateful to fucking sit here and listen to you guys, because I'm like, yeah, man, this is what's happening. We've got real men making real changes, and it starts from themselves first, and then it's spreading. And I'm like, I'm so grateful.
I can articulate mine really well, because not only I've got maybe 12 full journals. I started journaling a few years ago because I needed to understand why I felt the way I did. And then from there, I then pushed through some mentors and personal development courses, and I see a counsellor quite regularly as well to help me understand myself. I believe that a man who doesn't understand himself is a weak man and a dangerous man, and a man who's not very capable. And for me, it all tracks back to not having my father around. My father lived in another country. When I did have time with him, he would very clearly choose instant gratification over me, whether it be leading me through his girlfriends, his mates, drinking.
Is your father Balinese?
Correct.
He's in Bali.
Yeah, a whole different culture.
The trip that you went to recently, I seen a guy with longish hair.
That's my dad.
That's your dad. All
yeah,
right, sweet.
yeah, and we've got a relationship now, but it's not a father-son relationship.
Okay.
And how that kind of showed up for me growing up was I was the most feminine man.
Yep.
And then with that femininity came fake masculinity. And I think that's what toxic masculinity is. It's a lacking of it. So people put up a front or an image and it comes out in a very unhealthy way, a very dangerous way, insecure way. So growing up, I always wanted to hang out with the older crew because it made me feel a bit safer, I think. I craved a male support, never had that, never had my dad around, never had a big brother. Then getting older ended up me then wanting to be the guy, you know, the party guy, the cool guy, the guy with the friends, the guy with the girls, the guy who didn't give a fuck because I gave the biggest fuck.
Yeah.
You know, I had my first relationship end and I ran to vices. I ran to going out and trying to prove to everyone, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm going to get into fights because I'm scared, not because I'm confident. I'm going to sleep with women because I'm insecure, not because I'm confident. I'm going to do drugs and drink because I don't like who I am, because I don't know who I am. And because I don't know who I am, I'm scared that if I find out, I won't like it, no one else will.
Damn.
And that went on for perpetually for about 4 or 5 years. And I had the same result. And I heard a really good quote, which is, we always go looking for happiness in the same place we lose it. So every weekend I go looking for happiness in, you know, drugs, alcohol, validation from women, my peers. And I always end up back in the same position, at home, lonely, sad, going, why am I so unhappy?
Cycle.
Wow.
Yeah. And then one day I remember I had this epiphany, and it was the next day on a Sunday, we'd been partying for 12, 14 hours, and I kind of came to, and I looked around the room, and I've told my friends this at the time, and we're not that close anymore, but I looked around the room and I saw 4 of my friends, and I went, fucking loser, not inspiring, don't admire him, weak as piss. So am I. I'm all those things. I'm just as bad as them.
Yep.
And I remember that shift. I went home and I was lucky because I had a partner at the time. So she gave me some stability at home. Separated myself from all of my friends.
Yep.
They all resented me for it, of course, naturally, because I'm trying to improve myself and they're not.
Of course, yes.
And every stone they threw, every time they said, you're a fucking bitch, you think you're better than us, it was like a little bit, yes, I'm doing the right thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't want their validation, because what they validate is weak and whack, and I don't respect it. And I spent 5 years being really, really liked, but not respected. And I said, I'd rather be not liked and be respected, because I'm putting my own ego in front of my own self-respect. So I went through this journey of, you know, journaling every day, developing myself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And I kind of came on the other side of a friendship. And I've got one of my friends who's the opposite to me. He's always just been very masculine and not feminine.
Right.
And we've had this bond for over 10 years.
Yeah.
And over this 10 years, he's taught me how to be masculine, and I've taught him how to be feminine, and now we're both really balanced.
There's a balance.
Yeah,
yes.
there's a harmony.
Yeah, like he's my hero and I'm his in some ways. And I came to the realization that if you want to be a fucking man, you have to be soft as butter but prepared to kill. You know, you have to be
100%.
both. You have to be
You have to.
balanced, and you have to be able to provide both, because you have to be able to defend your family, you have to be able to love them. You know, that's your responsibility, that's your purpose. That's what a man's purpose is, to provide for their family, take care of them, protect. In most cases, not everyone's the same. So I've actually got 2 tattoos. I've got like 2 love hearts behind my right ear. I've got a dagger behind my left as a reminder, you know, feminine, masculine, balanced.
Beautiful.
And the 2 love hearts represent, I was raised by my mum and my grandma. So it's just like kind of remembering that I came from 2 feminine women who had to be masculine because they never had strong men. And I meet a lot of women who are, you know, got trouble being vulnerable and stuff like that because they've interacted with really weak men lacking masculinity. And it's sad because it's so easy to point the finger at the woman and go, you're acting this way, you're sleeping around, or whatever it is that you're doing as a woman that men don't respect, which is generally a result of either lacking of a father or a bad relationship where a man hasn't been providing the role of a masculine person. So that's kind of in a nutshell how I got to where I am in terms of my views on masculinity and femininity, because I've kind of experienced both sides.
Yeah,
And
interesting.
I knew when there was a lacking on either side, either by my personal experience or by my friends, that ends up with major flaws in how we carry ourselves.
Yeah, interesting. You know what? And people think that if you're masculine, you don't have emotions or you don't cry. I'll tell you something, like I'm not a big crier. The only time I really cry if I see Zuzu being emotional, because I know how masculine he is.
So when I'm cutting onions and I get tears and that starts crying.
No, but he to me represents a really healthy masculine. And so even when he sort of went through his challenges, I still could see that in him, right? And so it was like, it didn't make me feel like he was a weak man, because the base was a very strong masculine guy. Always felt safe in his presence, and you know, me and him have a friendship, so it doesn't have to have a relationship where it's intimate. It's not that kind of relationship, but man, we're so close as friends that even in his presence, I feel that. And what a great way to be for a man, that you don't just provide that for your partner or your kids, but imagine a group of masculine providing it for society itself, as friends, as coaches, as leaders, as, you know. So for me, like I look at that and I'm like, yeah, you know, I was overly masculine as a female, and, you know, I notice the natural shift that happens with me in regards to him is I soften. Whereas if I sense, because I'm really good with this, if the guy is too feminine, it's over for him. Like, I'm already onto it. Like, he's going to, you know, cop it from me just in the way I'll dominate. Whereas with him, because he's truly masculine, I feel so safe to actually step back a little bit and let him lead and stuff. And what a great society that will be when, you know, men do that, not just for their loved ones and their homes, but out and about in sporting culture, especially in sporting culture. You guys doing the work, you know, in gyms and stuff, it is beautiful. I've got a little boy, you know, I'm a single parent. I listened to your story and I was like, fuck, look at that. I look at you and I think, yeah, my son's going to be fucking amazing, right? And I love that because it's just automatically made me think about Zarava.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is great, you know, and to have coaches and people that he can have access to that have this kind of setup, mate, I feel more confident about him being incredible and turning into a strong, healthy, masculine man. So, yeah.
100%. Jai, let's talk as well. You started doing some boxing. Right, so what's led you onto that path as well to start doing something that obviously you're not familiar with, right?
Yeah, I guess a few different things. Like, number one, obviously, I'm a coach. Predominantly coach men in terms of, you know, fitness, well-being, body recomposition to improve, you know, the way they look and how they feel about themselves. And I'm constantly pushing my clients to get outside their comfort zone. And in my mind, a leader has to do more. A leader has to go first. So it's like, well, how can I make myself uncomfortable? And I'm boxing, you know, on and off as I grew up. But how do I put it? I never really committed to it.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid. It made me anxious. And also the idea of, you know, being challenged and coming up short is scary as a man.
Yes.
But yeah, this year I made the commitment because it's something I've always wanted to do. And I know that I'm capable in terms of committing to something like that, discipline-wise, and just who I am as in my character. And it's something that's just kind of paid off in dividends because, as you know, you put yourself through adversity intentionally, you get nothing but benefit.
Yeah.
You never regret it. And my favourite way to look at it is like everyone thinks life's hard until someone dies and then nothing else matters, you know? And how do you prepare yourself for that? Going and looking for adversity. Go chase it, you know, whether it be every day, every week, whatever it is. And I get scared before I go to boxing pretty much every session. And I go, good, this is what I fucking need. Because if I'm not chasing something that scares me, I need to chase it or chase me.
It's going to chase you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's embracing fear, accepting fear for what it is, right? And Mike Tyson spoke about that very well. I remember I was obsessed with Mike Tyson, you know, growing up. I used to fall asleep. I cracked my fucking head with the iPad because I was fucking in my bed watching like this and pop straight on my head, right? But I used to watch Mike Tyson every night before bed. And I was a fearful, very fearful kid, you know. And even when I started boxing and kickboxing, I did it out of fear.
Yeah.
You know, I started combat sports because I was 14 years old playing high level soccer. I was playing seniors as a 14-year-old, and when you play with those adults, there's fights. I didn't know. Fuck, it's different to junior soccer. There's flares, there's fights, and then I was like, fuck. All right, I gotta prepare myself more, you know. And I was getting bullied at school heaps, and I was like, nah, fuck feeling like this. So I walked into a kickboxing gym, and that. Started to train, but same thing. Fear held me back a lot, right? So then what happened was I would go and train, and I lacked discipline, so I would go and train so I could go and settle the score outside, you know, when I'm going to parties or hang around gangs, like a gang mentality. And everything about me back then was a fear. The music I listened to, the way I carried myself, even when Aesha met me when I was 18, I had to put more of a front on, because it's like when you're running on fear, not understanding how to embrace it or control it, you constantly feel like you're, something's threatening you. You're in danger. So you arm yourself, you do what you got to do, you know what I mean? And, only till doing proper self-development work with, cold water and doing the things that are uncomfortable, man, adversity, is when you actually start to accept fear and build this true strength within, where I can coach better now. You know what I mean? I can help the people around me with a better mindset. I'm not falsifying how to carry myself as a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was that guy that would sexualize every fucking woman I saw. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was
know.
the fapper. I was the fapper. I was, because I thought culture or masculine culture had to be that way. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just things like that. And yeah, I think, you know, I'm excited about the future. How you explained, Aesha, about Zarava. I've got a son as well, and I love him to death. And I also sit there and think, I'm not around a lot because we're fucking hustling. You know what I mean? Because it's also my duty to hustle when I can. So I'm like, how can I fucking make sure that I'm doing my sole purpose as a father to raise these kids the right way? And I said, okay, if I'm not around to speak much, I got to lead by actions. I got to fucking do, like when we had that chat with Jack the other week, and his parents were leading by actions, man. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I love the fact that you touched on how important it is to lead by action for the people around you.
Well, something I learned is that kids don't listen to their parents, but they fucking emulate them.
Exactly
100%.
right.
Blindly, subconsciously.
Yeah.
So it's like, there was times in my life where I went, fuck, I'm acting like my dad. Like,
Literally
and it made me
the
feel
same
really
fucking tone.
And it would make me go, but I hated how he acted, but I'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know.
Does that give you goosebumps? Because
it makes you so uncomfortable.
I've yelled, blown up at the kids, and it is this exact same tone as a 5'7" man. My father, you're right, and the tone was exactly the same. And I'm like, what the fuck? How did I simulate that exact tone with the same sentence with everything? And I'll get goosebumps from it when it happens because it takes me straight back. I'm like, fuck.
You relive it.
I relive it.
Remember
within
how it made
seconds.
you feel as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's always how it made you feel. I want to go back a little bit to the conversations you guys had about how you were in fear. Like, if you really think about it, you started on a path because you were scared of something. So did you. So did I. A lot of the kids that get into sports, I did combat sports too, right? It's fear-based.
Fear-based.
All of us that got bullied, we were different. We sounded different, looked different. It came out, we have to prove a point now. We have to be ruthless. We have to be strong. We have to be whatever. When I look at that as a female, as I grew up, I didn't notice because, like, I became a mum and I couldn't go around wanting to punch everyone on the street like when, you know, I was young. But I also noticed that I was still leading from that fear space, and I would react because I was always like, I'm scared of feeling this. So I'm going to react and I'm going to do this. So emotionally even, it impacts your life, right? And it also impacts the decisions you make. Yeah. So, you know, this is not just about physically being strong. It's also about emotional well-being and mental well-being, because I noticed that when I was doing this stuff, like, you know, the cold showers and fuck, being half brown, bro, that's just horrible. Like, I always say the brown part of me doesn't like it. Right? Because brown people don't swim. But yeah, so it was challenging, but I did it, and I started to notice it wasn't just because I sort of overcame the physical fear. I was good with pain, physical pain. But what I noticed was that it was helping me be a better mum, be a better friend, be a better just person in society, because I was never coming from a place of, I don't want to feel discomfort and fear, and so I'm going to do this. It was always coming from, in that moment, I didn't react and I was able to stabilize myself, right? So these things, I don't want people to just take away that, oh, this is just a physical benefit. These guys are all trainers and that's why they're doing this. No, man, I became a better human being overall. I stopped reacting. I stopped taking things personally. I could assess a situation, right, for what it was, and not feel like I've got to react and push and shove straight away. I had time to sit in discomfort. I learned, my nervous system fucking learned to sit in discomfort, and I got to regulate myself through that instead of just being like, quick, I need to make a decision, yes or no, right now, because I don't want to be here, right? So imagine applying this kind of work in business, in relationships, in whatever you do, right? This is not just about the physical well-being. I think it's just so much deeper, and that it can help in so many ways. And this is why you know, having guys like you that lead the younger generation, making it like normal and cool, like because who do they have to look up to? Who are they looking at and saying, hey, I want to be like this? You know what's out there? Fucking look at the watches I got, look at the chains I got, look at the bitches I got. That's what they got, right? And they think that's empowerment. They go, oh, I got money, I got this, I got that, right? But imagine coming back to seeing really healthy looking men that have healthy relationships, healthy mindsets, healthy emotional well-being. They're the ones that now is the thing that young men, women, anyone that we look up to and go, man, that's our goal now. It's not just about, you know, having the things, having the things. We, you know, I really want to get away from having the things to make us feel valid. Just being able to tap into our own intelligence, our own well-being, and because this doesn't just, you're not just having a sick body and you're not just fit. You've created a community. You're now trustworthy, right? You can hold space for people. People can now come to you and share like, hey, I'm feeling down, Joe. But that's because you've put yourself in this situation that you've evolved as a person in whole, not just the physicality of it.
Yeah, and just to touch on that emotional strength or just awareness, something I talk about with my counsellor a lot because, you know, everyone can be physically strong and aware, but if something catches you off guard emotionally, we react.
100%.
We're scared. We get
You become
defensive.
impulsive.
Yeah.
We say something we don't need. We're triggered by our emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a really good revelation last time I saw him. I haven't had an emotional outburst in over 2 years. I can recall it. It was an angry one at a service station, and I remember it. It makes you cringe.
Oh, fuck, the price was too high, was it?
Fuck the petrol price.
But we talk about the difference between reacting and responding. You know, a reaction is a response emotionally, generally, out of our control, usually done primarily or out of, I guess, insecurity, defense, or fear.
Fear.
And now it's like, oh, wow, whenever I hear something, I think about it, I respond. Like I've got a new partner at the moment. It's still very new, but it's all going really well. And something that she takes note is, well, sometimes I'll say something to you if we're having a discussion and you'll take you 2 minutes to respond. If she asks me, so I need a second to articulate what I want to say because I know how important words are.
Yes.
And I used to throw them around and
that
What
takes
is that?
that takes
they hurt
maturity.
people, you know?
Yeah.
And this is the first time I've been in a relationship as a man. What I mean by that is my last relationship I started when I was 24, ended when I was 28, but nearly 2 years ago. And I was a child, you know?
Yeah.
Like it was a reaction upon a reaction.
Yeah.
There was so many flaws I had, so many flaws she had, but how I take responsibility and what I think it is as a man was what you should do is all of her flaws, a lot of them were the result of me not taking in my real role of a masculine man. I hadn't learned how to do that. I'd give her mixed messages in terms of what I'd be giving off. I wanted to be the leader, but I didn't actually
Lead.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where now this is the first time I come into a relationship and I compliment my new partner and I say, wow, I love you because you're so feminine. And she said, you're the first man that's allowed me to feel this feminine.
Yeah.
It's
Fuck,
like, oh,
man,
wow.
I'm taking in a lot now.
Yeah.
And that's the best compliment I've ever received, I think. And she said the same to me. No one's ever said it to me. And it's like, oh, well, I think that's what it's meant to be, right? Like, I know a lot of masculine women, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But after getting to know these women, they're just lacking that side in their life, so they have to be that. Because who's going to be it for them?
Because no one's providing the platform for them to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to be their
100%.
natural self. Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate thing with life now is, 10 years ago, we didn't speak about mental health, and that's really damaging. Now we give people an excuse to be, not
How they are.
perform,
Yeah.
And I was one of those, I was a victim my whole life until about 5 years ago. And it's so easy to go, yeah, but I've got this issue.
Yeah.
But at the same time, who's going to
What are you
fucking
doing?
fix it?
Yeah,
Who's
what are you
gonna
doing
fucking
about
fix
it? Yeah,
Want someone to come
exactly.
save you?
Yeah.
Like, no one saved my mum.
Yeah.
She was a single mother for most of my life.
Yep.
I couldn't do it. I was a kid. So it's like, I don't want to pass on those negatives to my children, my partner, those around me. And you have to take responsibility for it. Even if it's not, within your control sometimes, you take responsibility and be accountable for it.
Yeah.
And that provides a safe space for people to go, oh, at least someone is.
Yep.
Yeah. So what's your impression of what a healthy masculine is then? How do you see
To me, and I can only speak from experience. So I'll relate to who I used to be to who I am now.
Yes, that's
so
good.
I guess essentially when I used to be very feminine, I was raised by 2 women, and that's not cool when you're a young man to have a lot of empathy and care about people. But as you grow older, you go, wow, the feminine side's usually the hardest one to build when you're a man. So I can't, and the masculine's pretty easy when you think about it. It's very simple. So for me, I used to be this man who was very feminine, and then that would come out in me pretending like I was masculine.
So what is that? I want to know. When you say you were, how do you know you were so feminine? What was the things that you used to do?
I was just like, and all these things are great, by the way.
Yeah,
it's just when they're not accompanied by the other stuff, I feel like it's not well rooted. So
100%.
rounded. So I was very loving, very empathetic, very caring, always very sensitive, very aware of my emotions, very emotionally intelligent, and could feel that, overly communicate it. Very uncommon to be for me to be understood emotionally.
Yep.
And then when that wasn't backed up with me being comfortable masculine, I didn't want to show those qualities.
Yep.
So I had to show fake ones. But then when I built up the confidence to be a man, to challenge people, to let people challenge me, now I can walk around kissing people, hugging people, and be as feminine as I want, because I know if someone wants to put it on me, I'm happy to stand up and say, what? What is it?
Yeah.
Where in the past, I'd be like that first because I was scared someone would say something and then I'd be like, oh no, I can't do anything about it. When now I can walk around and be myself, hug people, kiss people, tell them I love them, be as soft as I want. But if something wants to be
something
said,
went down,
my chest
you've
comes
got
up.
the capacity.
And it's just that feeling as a man, I didn't feel capable.
Yeah.
When now I feel capable.
Yeah.
So mate, you know what it sounds like to me? A well-balanced man provides platform for a safer world and safer environment.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Like you guys in this space of coaches, that means the kids that are coming through also get to energetically experience that and sort of feel that and embody that. It's important. We don't have overly developed unhealthy masculine coaches teaching or friends that are like in that space and sort of like you said, they're not real. Even for me, like I look at it and I think, just being able to, me being so masculine in general that when I'm in the presence of that, it just automatically happens. There's not an exchange of words. Hey, you can now back down. It's like, that's why energy speaks such volumes, because I feel safe. I'm like, even
so
us as business,
even
as business partners, I'm like, I have normally, no matter what, even if it's a friendship, I will always dominate and dictate what we do, what we Zuzu's the first person that I'm like, and I feel relaxed, man. Like I'm like, he can deal with it because I feel safety in that, right? And it's like, it's so nice knowing that, hey, that's available and you don't have to. It's not a thought process. My brain doesn't have to make sense of it. It's just a feeling, And
at the same time, if I know we have to throw punches, you'll be throwing them next to me. So it's all good. Jai, where can people find out more about Cold Water Club? Where can they get in touch with you if they want to, stuff like that?
So the Cold Water Club is on Instagram, so the.coldwaterclub. Myself is jai.simpar on Instagram for personal training and that kind of thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. I think we wrap it up there.
I just want to ask Jai one more question.
Go for it.
How do you want to expand this? Like, where do you want to take it? What's your vision for Cold Water Club and you and, what other spaces do you want to sort of grow it in?
So I'm kind of trying to, integrate that with what I'm doing in my coaching space. So I've got about 25 individuals that I coach on a one-to-one basis. And from that, we're building out a community in terms of replicating the Cold Water Club culture and doing that with people who are entailing, a life journey of building up their health, fitness, emotional fitness and stuff like that through my team. And then from there, there's a lot of different businesses in this area, in the area of Frankston that I'm close with, and we just want to find a way to integrate that. So I've got a few plans, which I don't want to speak too much of just yet.
No, that's fine.
But essentially just want to continue to replicate what I've done with the Cold Water Club at a bigger scale, whether that be through events, other communities, or collaborating with people like yourself.
Yeah.
But for me as a person, just have a positive intention and just lead by example, essentially.
Yeah, brother. I think community's the way up now.
100%.
Like that 1980s style of like me, individual, I'm going to succeed is dying. That's why things are falling apart. And I think moving forward, it's all about community and moving forward as a group of us. I think that's beautiful.
100%. We love it, bro. We're here to support you all the way.
Thank you so much for having me. Nice
Appreciate it.
to be here.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.